Hi everybody, my name is Deja and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting my winterween reading vlog for 2024. So I can't believe that it's actually 2024 and this is the first readathon that I'm participating this year. I'm super excited. Thank you so much to Gabby for hosting this, winterween and summerween. I love both of them so much and I'm really excited for this edition because I'm really excited for my TBR. I think that I have some really good books on there, so we'll just go over that now. So for Read a Book in the Dark, I have Crossroads by Laural Hightower, which is on Hoopla. This one is a short little novella that's about grief. It's super short, but I have to read it later tonight because I need to read it in the dark. And then for Read a Book with a Witch on the cover and Read a Book that has purple on the cover, I'm going with Cackel by Rachel Harrison. You can see it has like a witch's hand on it, so I'm counting that. And the cover is mostly this really dark, beautiful purple. So I'm counting this one. This one is about a woman who moves to a town and she becomes friends with potentially a witch. So that's that. And then lastly, for Read a Book with a snowy / wintry setting and Read a Book with a W in the title, I'm doing Moon of the Crusted Snow, which is a post-apocalyptic, which I don't like apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic stories, but this one has been really drawing me in. So this one is a post-apocalyptic story that focuses on indigenous culture, I believe, indigenous people, and them trying to fight off these random visitors. So I'm really excited to try all of these, and all of them are fairly short. As I said, I think Crossroads is probably only like 3 hours on audio. Moon of the Crusted Snow is 7 hours, and this one is 9 or 10 hours. My bad, 10 hours. So I'm hoping to get through all of these pretty quickly because the fun fact is I actually start back at school on Monday the 8th, which is in 3 days. I have today, tomorrow, and the next day to really like immerse myself in the reading. I'm not really doing much. I prepared myself for school for most part, so I'm pretty good on that front. But once school starts, I know that I have like meetings and I have a lot of other projects that I'm working on for the book community that are going to take up time and have meetings as well. It's winter welcome week at my school, so they are gonna have like social events, and then there's also gonna be like social events outside of school, of course, like parties and stuff like that that I may want to go to. So there's just like a lot of stuff that's going to be happening next week, and the readathon is mostly next week. So I'm going to try and complete my TBR this weekend, and then any additional books that I read after that will just be a bonus. So honestly, I think that I will be able to get a lot of reading done this weekend. And yeah, so I think I'm going to start it on Cackel as my very first book. And the reason I'm doing Cackel is because, well, I don't know. I could do Moon of the Crusted Snow, but I'm in the mood for Cackel. And I think the audiobook will last me a while today because I'm actually going to be taking out this hair because I feel like a lot of people can't tell, but it's like very like grown out. So I'm taking it out before school and then washing my hair and doing the curls and stuff, which that alone takes me like 3 hours, and I've never taken out this type of hairstyle on myself. So we'll see how long this takes. This will probably take like 2 hours. So that alone is like 5 hours, like 4 or 5 hours, and most of that I can listen to an audiobook. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to like read most of this, if not finish it, while just taking out my hair. And you guys probably won't get many updates on it, probably just get an update at the end because I don't want to come to y'all looking a mess with my hair half taken out, half in. And yeah, so y'all might not see me until this book is finished. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, and I'm hoping it doesn't take me too long. I would really like to go see Night Swim, the new movie about the haunted pool, tonight. I would really like to go see that. It's also my boyfriend. He is in a black fraternity and it is his Founders Day today, so he's gonna be in town. He lives actually like an hour and 15 minutes away from me, but his school and his chapter runs out of the same town that I live in. He's probably going to come over really late tonight and then sleep, and then in the morning we're probably going to do like hang out and stuff together because we really like to do like a Saturday morning movie. He likes to expose me to black movies that I've never seen before, so we like to do Saturday morning movies. And then Sunday's just going to be a chill day where I like really prep and relax before classes start. So that's kind of like my weekend plans. I hope that you guys are along for this ride with me for this entire week. And yeah, so I'm gonna start taking out my hair and listen to the audiobook of Cackel.
Pretty girl, Abigail, pretty girl, bacon bear, pretty girl, curly hair, she wavy, pretty girl, everywhere. I see pretty across the world.
Okay, so I finished taking out my hair, but I have to touch up the dye a little bit and wash it and do the curls, which is a whole other process. But I am over halfway done, 57% of the way done with Cackle. I just made it to page 161, and I'm really enjoying this book so far. It's not really too horrific, I wouldn't say, and I always heard people describe this one as cozy horror, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So we follow Annie, and she literally just turned 30. She went through a horrible breakup with someone that she was with for 10 years. So she decides to move to this smaller little quaint town and teach at a small school nearby. And you know, she doesn't really have any friends. She's been so wrapped up in this relationship for the past couple years of her life that she doesn't really have anybody in her life. But when she gets to this town, she is in love with her apartment. She loves it, but she notices there's kind of like spiders and weird stuff happening around. And then she meets this lady that's extremely kind, super just nice, and has a really like magnetic energy to Annie. Her name is Sophie, and she's just like beautiful, charming, all of that. And she wants to be friends with Annie, and Annie doesn't really understand, but she wants to be friends with Sophie too. She's just kind of drawn to her, but everybody in the town is kind of scared of Sophie, and Annie thinks it's because Sophie owns a lot of the land in the town. She's not sure how much, but she owns a lot of land in the town and stuff like that. And weird things just start to happen. She says weird things that kind of you would think she's a witch. Like, she's like, do you want me to curse these students that you have that are really bad? And so she kind of has a certain power, and it is kind of known that this is a witch book. So Sophie is a witch, but you kind of learn that over time with Annie. And so far in the book, Annie does find out. So her and Sophie are just becoming friends, and Sophie really is pushing Annie to like live her life, because she's like, what do you actually want? What do you really want out of life? Not just what you thought you wanted, not some domesticated thing. Like, if you want that, that's cool, but if you don't, you really have to think about what you want and live life for yourself, which I think is such a great and amazing like theme to the story. I'm literally in love with that. And Annie really doesn't even know who she truly is, which I think is something that is really common and that we don't talk about, that like 30-year-olds sometimes don't know who they are, and they got like swept up in the motion of life, and you know, being in relationships, being out of relationships, working, that monotony. Sometimes people really don't know who they are, they don't know what they want, and even if they do know who they are, they're not always brave enough to be who they truly are. And we are seeing Annie slowly learn about herself, about what she wants, and trying to become a person that is okay with being herself. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm gonna go touch up this dye and wash my hair, and I'll probably come back to y'all when I finish the book. We're back to the curls. I did my hair and everything. I went to go see my movie, but I forgot to film B-roll, so there's that. But I did, while I was finishing doing my hair, finish Cackle as well. And this one I'm gonna give 4 stars. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I see how like this book and Black Sheep are written by the same author. Like, I feel like Rachel Harrison definitely has a specific type of writing style, and I definitely really enjoy it. Why did I say definitely twice in a row? When I'm talking to y'all, I realize I say like definitely, super, like I'll say words like 3-4 times in a row, and I'm like, Deja, please get a wider vocabulary. But anyways, I gave it 4 stars because I really enjoyed the commentary of like this woman finding herself and all of that. It wasn't super horror at all. People also make fun of the way that I say horror. People say I sound like I'm saying whore, but it wasn't super horrific, I will say. It didn't have much horror in it at all, which was not like a big drawback for me in any way. Like, I wouldn't say that impacted my reading experience negatively, but I just know that this book is not a 5-star book. She's a solid 4-star book. I enjoyed the characterization, I enjoyed the themes, I enjoyed the plot, even though it was more of like a character study, I would say. And it didn't have much horror in it. So if you're looking for a really like intense horror witchy book, this is not going to be the book for you. This one is definitely just like more like a cozy horror character study type book. I would say like for example, there's like Woman Eating, and that one is much darker and much bleaker and sadder than this one is. So I know a lot of like plotless character study horror Even like I would classify like Our Wives Under the Sea as that, but those ones are much bleaker and sadder, but this one is more cozy. And I haven't really read a cozy horror before, but I know it's an emerging genre, so maybe I should try out more. But as I said, I'm giving this one 4 stars, and I think next up I'm gonna read Crossroads by Laural Hightower, and I may read it tonight, I may not. It's like 10 p.m. I don't know, I'll probably still be up to like 2, so I have plenty of time, but like I'm like not in the mood to really read right now. I'm in the mood to just like fuck around and do other stuff, so we'll see what I actually end up doing. But I may listen to Crossroads, I may not, I might just watch some TV. So yeah, but Cackle was a win, so I'm excited to move on to Crossroads, which I think is going to be more horror heavy. So I forgot to update y'all yesterday, but I listened to the entirety of Crossroads by Laural Hightower yesterday, and I'm giving it 5 stars. I really enjoy it. We follow a woman, and I believe her name is like Chris or something. Let me fact check myself really quickly. Yes, her name is Chris, and her son was killed in a terrible car accident, so she's facing a lot of grief. But then one day she has a cut on her finger, and a small drop of blood falls onto her son's roadside memorial, and she thinks that she is seeing his ghost and being able to communicate with him whenever she sacrifices little bits of herself. And this one is basically like, how far would you go for the people that you love, and the sacrifices that you are willing to make for those people. I absolutely love this one. As I said, I'm giving it 5 stars. I thought it was super just well done. I love grief horror, and I enjoyed this one a lot, especially with like the sacrificing. I think it was done really well, and to see how far Chris would go is something that was really crazy, honestly. And I think that it really goes to show like a mother's love as well. It's known that like a mother's love is unlike anything else, so seeing that in a book was really interesting to me. I love when there's motherhood commentary within thrillers and horror. I don't know why, I just do. So having that in combination with grief horror, I really enjoyed it a lot. I think that if you enjoy like Monstrilio, that you'll enjoy this one, and vice versa. Monstrilio is one that I also really enjoy and love. So yeah, that's kind of it. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's literally super short. It's 110 pages, so I don't want to give too much away. So I only have one book left on my TBR, and we still have so many days left of the readathon, and that is Moon of the Crusted Snow. So I'm going to start this one today and hopefully get at least like halfway through it. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Yesterday I went to the club. I was hungover. It's literally 3 p.m. I woke up at 1:30 because I was hungover as hell. So yeah, I'm just getting my life together, and class starts tomorrow, so I have to get my shit together. But I've started to do that already. I just want to like make sure everything is finalized and everything's good, especially like with my backpack. Like I want to make sure that my backpack is set up nice. My planner, even though I just ordered new pens for my planner, so I'm not really using this yet, but I will eventually. But yeah, that's like what's going on with me today. So I'm hoping that I can listen to some of Moon of the Crusted Snow while I prepare myself for class.
I see pretty girls all across the world. I see pretty girls everywhere I go.
So it has been a minute since I've talked to y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, my lips feel real dry. Like I need some lip gloss or something. Hold on, guys. Let me get my gloss out. If you're curious, I always use these glosses. They're called the Broadway brand. You can get them at beauty supply stores. Here's the lip gloss. This is my favorite one, the mango butter, but they have a lot of different flavors / scents. Anyways, I haven't talked to y'all in a hot minute because yesterday was my first day of class, and it was so chaotic. I had some personal stuff going on as well, so I was just having a day yesterday. Okay, a day. And then today it's literally hurricaning outside. Okay, it's not an actual hurricane, but it's pouring down rain. There's a tornado warning, and I still had class. Yeah, and it's the second day of class. So yeah, I haven't talked to y'all in a while, but I'm over halfway done. Let's see, I'm 65% of the way done with Moon of the Crusted Snow, and this one I was kind of unsure about. I was drawn to it because I've heard such good things about it, but I was just kind of unsure if it would be for me because I know that it's post-apocalyptic. But in the beginning of the story, we actually follow this community of indigenous people and their community. I don't want to butcher the name of like their actual like name, so I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to call them an indigenous group of people, and they were following their community and all these different like ways of life. We follow one specific man and his family, and the way that his family operates within this community, and the way that the community supports him and his family, and the way that he supports them back. We're following him mostly, and I was really enjoying the beginning part of the story where we were just learning about the community, and we slowly saw the apocalypse kind of set in, of like them losing first Wi-Fi and then them relying on backup generators and them not getting deliveries, and I was really enjoying that. And now we're kind of having people come in, like invading from the south into their community, asking for resources, asking for help, and we haven't gotten too far into that part of it yet, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I was, and I'm not sure why. I think it is because like I don't really enjoy like the apocalypse element, but I'm enjoying the learning about the indigenous community and the culture and the way that they just help each other, and they are such like a tight-knit community. I'm really enjoying those aspects of the story, but the actual like apocalypse part, now that we are like deep set in the post-apocalyptic world, I'm not necessarily enjoying it that much. But I also have not listened to this audiobook for at least like 2 days, so I am definitely going to try and finish it tonight because I want to get back into the story. I finished almost all my homework for the week, just one other class. I don't want to get too far ahead on the work, like too far ahead in regards to the class. Like we have work outside of class that relates to what we're talking about in class, obviously, and this class is Spanish. It's really difficult for me. It's difficult for me to learn other verbal languages, I've found, besides, well, this is not a verbal language. Sign language is very, I wouldn't say easy, but I took that in high school and I enjoyed it a lot. But other verbal languages are just not for me. So I'm going to be fighting for my life in this class. And I feel like if I get too far ahead, then I'm going to confuse myself. So I'm not going to do my work for Friday, even though, because it's Tuesday. You know, I'm going to wait till tomorrow when we have class again. And once that class is over and we talk about the work that we did previous to the class, then I will do the work for Friday. Makes sense, makes sense. So I'm pretty much like caught up. The only thing that I have to do is I have some RA stuff I need to do, and I have to edit a video for Thursday. But I think I'm going to do that tomorrow on reading sprints. I kind of want to like decompress tonight. So I'm going to do some RA stuff, and then I'm going to hopefully finish this audiobook, and then that'll be my TBR finished. I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. Actually, I do have a pretty good idea. I think I might pick up my TBR jar pick, and that is The Last House on Needless Street. This one I picked up from my TBR jar, which is a jar that I do that has most of my physical TBR in it. It's not completely up to date, but has most of my physical TBR in it. And I just pick out one every single month, and I have to try and read that book. And if I don't read it by the end of the year, then I have to unhaul it. So yeah. I definitely want to try and read that one, so I am going to probably pick that one up next. But first we need to finish Moon of the Crusted Snow. I would like to inform y'all I have not read at all. It is a couple hours later, but I got my Aardvark book box in, so I thought I would unbox it with y'all if I can actually work scissors. I love Aardvark book box. I think they're much better than Book of the Month. They have picks that I actually like and care about. This is this month's bookmark. It's like this watermelon kind of mixture. It's like a pretty pinky red orange with this mint. It's giving watermelon. And then my pick for this month, I think this was my pick, was Chain Gang All-Stars, even though this came out a while ago. But I've been really wanting to read this. It's like a sci-fi book about the prison system, and literally I study criminology, so I was like, I must read that. Then I got this one called Sugar Baby, which I've never heard of before, but because I was already getting the box, it was like, oh, okay, like let me add some other stuff on. Plus I had 2 credits. So this one says, a bold, intoxicating debut from a dazzling new voice, Sugar Baby is an unflinching portrayal of high-paid sex work in the age of the internet. Like, that just sounded so interesting to me, like giving OnlyFans type vibes. And the last one I got was The Fiction Writer, because one of my friends was reading this, I think, or one of my patrons, which are my friends, but somebody was reading this and they said that it was pretty good. I believe it's about a writer who writes fiction. So yeah, I honestly don't think I'm actually going to read tonight. I think I retract my statement, but that's fine. I just need to decompress. But tomorrow morning, I will definitely be finishing the audiobook on my walk to class. So regardless, I'm going to be finishing the book relatively soon. So earlier today, I finished Moon of the Crusted Snow, and I think I'm going to give that one 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed the discussions around the indigenous community, like how I was saying before, and I really liked there was this one character in the story who was kind of seen as like an older aunt kind of person in the community. And she was like, this apocalypse is not the end of our world. The end of our world was when the white people basically came to America. And I was like, real? Or America and Canada, North America. And I was like, real? Like, I love that discussion around that. And I just really enjoyed all of like being in this community, and it felt so close knit. I know earlier I said we're following one main character. We actually follow a lot of different characters throughout the story for it being so short, but we do focus on one specific man and his wife and their family. We follow them a lot of the story, but we follow a lot of different characters. We're introduced to a lot of different characters throughout the story. But I'm giving this one 3.5 stars because I just didn't really like connect to it, and I think that it is because it's apocalyptic. It just didn't really like give what I wanted it to give necessarily, and I still enjoyed it. I had a great time reading this one, even though I'm giving it 3.5 stars. 3.5 stars is a good rating to me because 2.5 is average. So this is a whole star above average. So it was still a really good book, and I think if I was to enjoy an apocalyptic story, it would be something like this, because this one is much slower and the horror is white people in it and those people invading, and I'm like, that's really real. Like, that is a big fear for a lot of people, which is completely valid and justified, and that's the kind of part of the story that I really enjoyed. But it being slower was not my favorite thing at some points. I was starting to get a little bored. So yeah, overall I would really recommend this one, and I enjoyed it immensely, and I enjoyed the discussions. But again, I don't really like apocalyptic things a ton, and I also don't really enjoy slower stories unless we are following like one character and we are getting to know them immensely. But I enjoyed getting to know this community and their traditions, and I just really enjoyed it overall. But now I've started The Last House on Needless Street by Catrina Ward, and I'm about 100 pages into this one, and we follow 3 different characters throughout this main story. So we follow Ted, and he's just like an average middle-aged man who lives in a house, and he, you know, has a lot of like trauma related to his childhood. He literally calls his mom mommy still, and I think she passed on, and he still carries on a lot of her traditions and does a lot of stuff related to her. Sorry if you guys also hear my washing machine. I completely forgot that it's going on. But so we're following him, and then we're also following his cat named Olivia, and I'm not sure why we're following this cat, but it's a religious cat. It literally studies a religious text, which is very interesting, and I'm enjoying the cat perspective. And then we follow a teenage girl as well. We haven't gotten her perspective, but it's Ted's daughter, and it says that she isn't allowed outside, not after last time. And then there is an unspeakable secret that binds them all together, which I'm not sure 100% what that is yet. But they have a neighbor move in next door, and when this neighbor moves in, she is actually looking for her missing sister. Her sister went missing like years ago, and she's kind of been like on the trail of her missing sister. So she moves in because for some reason she thinks maybe Ted or something has something to do with it. I'm not 100% sure, but she's very interested in Ted. So yeah, we follow her a lot as well, and I'm very interested in this missing sister aspect. I'm really interested in the cat perspective, but the teenage girl and Ted, I'm just like not interested in. Ted is just like okay, but I'm like, okay, this is just like a middle-aged white man that has like mental issues. He has a lot of different things. I am not a therapist, so I'm not going to say that he's diagnosed with anything, but I can definitely see that he has a lot of trauma that relates to a lot of things, and I feel like he definitely has like some anxieties, and he just has like a lot of things going on, and you know what, that's okay. But at the same time, I'm just not like loving his perspective because I just don't really enjoy generally like white men's perspectives. That's just me. It's probably just because I don't relate to them, because I'm literally like the opposite of white men. Sorry, the washing machine is being so loud. I was trying to update y'all at a different location, and now the washing machine's going off. But yeah, I'm feeling okay about it so far. It's not like standing out to me in any sort of way. So we'll see how this pulls through, but I'm pretty sure I know the twist. So that'll probably ruin it for me, honestly. But I still wanted to read this one anyways because I know a lot of people love it. But right now it's probably sitting around like a 2.5 or 3 star. I'm feeling very average about it. Nothing about it is particularly appealing, but it's also not like terrible to read. It was a little confusing to get into in the beginning because I was listening on audio. But I picked up everything now. So yeah, this is what I'm reading currently, but I finished my complete winterween TBR and I'm really happy about it. So I'm hoping to also finish this one by the end of the readathon because it ends on the 11th and today's the 10th. So is that tomorrow? I guess the readathon ends tomorrow because it went from the 5th to the 11th, right? 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Yeah, the 11th. So I have some reading sprints tonight and I'm hoping to do some reading on there. But my friend Cami from Burrows and Books, she's going to be on the sprints with me. So we'll probably a kiki and then also have a video that I need to edit for tomorrow. And reading sprints are in 2.5 hours and I need to go to the grocery store. So I don't know how much of the video I'm going to get edited before the sprint. So I need to edit the video. But tomorrow, I'll definitely be able to listen to the audiobook while going to class and everything like that. So I'm hoping to finish this one tomorrow as well and get 4 books into the readathon. Hi besties, I ended up finishing The Last House on Needless Street by Catrina Ward last night, and this one I'm giving 3 stars. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this book. I feel like you need to go into this book not knowing much. I feel like what I've told you is kind of the extent of what you need to know, honestly probably even more than you need to know, but I will say there's a big twist in this. I did in fact know the twist beforehand and it is like a mental health related twist. That's all I'm going to say because I feel like that's already a lot, but I just wanted to address that and the fact that I feel like I've read some Own Voices reviews of people who really enjoyed the book. I've read Own Voices review of people who really didn't enjoy the book. So it kind of is really up to interpretation whether this was a good depiction of this mental health or not. It was definitely used as a plot twist, which was not my favorite. And a lot of this book I spent very confused and bored, which is why it's getting a 3 star. Honestly, it was going to be a 2 star, but I did end up liking a lot of aspects of the end of it, not just the main plot twist but a lot of the other elements I enjoyed. So that's why I'm gonna give this one a 3 star, maybe like a 2.5, because there was a lot of things I didn't enjoy about it, but some parts of it I did enjoy. So I think actually I'm gonna give this one a 2.5 instead of a 3. I really can't discuss this book that much without getting into spoilers, so I think I'm just gonna leave it there. So to wrap up for this readathon, I read Crossroads by Laural Hightower, which I gave 5 stars. I read Cackel by Rachel Harrison, which I gave 4 stars. I read Moon of the Crusted Snow, which I gave 3.5 stars. And then The Last House on Needless Street, which I'm giving 2.5 stars, but rounding probably up to 3. So that's what I read. Overall, I would call this readathon a success. It had a kind of a mix of ratings, but nothing I really hated. So I would say that this was definitely a success. But that's all that I have for this video today. If you made it to the end of the video, leave the little witch emoji down below since this was kind of like a witchy themed readathon, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye everybody.
I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in, yeah. You got the nerve to be on me, faking your life.